and wait a second. Is this the one that you take the bowl, you take you add marbles. Do you add marbles or you take them out?
So both. He has, actually that is just a
decorative thing.
Decorative one. At home, he's got a big bucket of them and he takes out from there and puts into the other one. The boys didn't think that it was a good idea to throw them away. So we saved them. And actually it's kind of nice to look at it that way. You know, it's kind of like it's a visual of all those weeks in the other container too. And then once he runs out of the big container, then he'll start taking them and they'll be like bonus weeks. So he can take them from the other one and put them back into the big one again.
See? Yeah. That is awesome. But I remember when I saw that, one of his postings, and I thought, well, that is very interesting to do it that way.
Yeah. Right?
Keeping track of time there, you know?
Keeping track of time and just making the marbles count.
Yes.
Oh, welcome.
Hello.
Here we are. It's time.
It's time for another episode of
Living Well Together. Right.
Big Life in a Small Town. And we're here with Missy Mae Walters.
Missy Mae is a rock and roll star.
True.
In all things Miami Valley. So we're going to cover a lot of ground today. She's got an amazing resume of here's what I do. But I have known Missy for now probably minimum 10 years.
A decade. Yeah, a little over a decade.
We'll put a decade. That's
through the Rotary Club. You're in the Beaver Creek Rotary Club and would come to visit here in Fairborn's Rotary Club. For what reason?
Because you sing. Because the Rotary Club sings.
Right.
And I grew up in a Rotary Club that sang in West Texas.
Got it.
The Abilene Rotary Club sang every day. Or
Marvelous.
every meeting, so.
It is good. I like the singing too. So you guys are a fun club.
It does separate us from a lot of clubs. We have a piano player and we do sing songs. And not very good, but we sing
But it's fun.
a lot.
And everybody's standing up and it's
And
really
I just love it. I love
fellowship.
your program and the energy that you have. So.
Well, thanks. I don't get any credit for it. I just show up and go and do what I'm told. The other thing that's a significant notable about Missy Mae is her vehicle.
Oh, boy.
What are you driving?
I drive a pink Mustang convertible.
And when you say pink, it's Pepto-Bismol pink. It is
I like
literally...
to say bubble gum.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gum. Yeah,
Sorry.
that's so much better than Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. Okay.
So now when you see this vehicle out on the road, you'll know who the driver is.
And there's a lot. You have a lot of car stories, right?
I do. I have
escapades.
tons.
Yes.
And I have people that love it and people that do not like it either.
Well,
But
we're not
you
here to
like
please
it.
everybody.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
no.
It's
And I
your
think,
car. It should
well, if
please
you don't
you.
like it, then just keep it to yourself.
100%.
You know,
If you
That
can't
would-
say something nice, which we're going to talk about manners today too. We'll get to
So
that.
how long have you driven a bubblegum pink Mustang? Has it been
oh
your
my goodness,
signature car?
15 years. So
Wow,
my
wow.
first one was a 2005, and I had somebody hit the side of my
Oh,
car, and they said
dang.
to me, "Well, you know what? If we paint just one little area of your car, it is not going to match. So when we paint it, do you want it the same color?" It was still blue.
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, I've always wanted a pink car." And they said, "Okay, we'll paint it pink then, Missy Mae." So there you go. And then I drove it until 250,000 miles. And then I ended up getting a brand new car. And I said to the guy that sold it to me, "There's only one thing wrong with the car. Before I sign, I want a pink car. I just want exactly the same car, brand new." And so he painted it for me. And he
my
used it in commercials and everything. So I didn't have to pay for it.
Oh my gosh. That is
So there
you go.
so
It's
fantastic.
kind of a Barbie car. Let's call it that. Barbie pink.
Barbie pink? It's not really Barbie pink though. It's bubblegum pink.
It's bubble. So when they matched the color up, what I told the guys to do, I said, okay, because they first gave me like fuchsia. You know, they were painting for me to give me an idea of what the color was going to look like.
Right.
And the first one was like a fuchsia.
Yeah.
And then the second one was like the Mary Kay pink.
Yeah.
And then
Not
I
you.
said, "Listen here, guys.
Yeah.
All you have to do," because they have like a gun that like, you know, they can hit a color and then it tells them exactly what the mixture is.
Yes.
And I said, "You just have to go to the convenience store, wherever, and just get a pack of Bubblicious gum." And
my
that's
heck.
what I want my color of my car to look like.
Okay.
And they said, "Okay, that's what we're doing." And that's what they gave me.
Love it. it? And you were happy with the color?
Oh, I loved it. As soon as it came out, I was like,
I think that's
oh my
fantastic.
goodness, that is whoa, that is exactly what I wanted. So 15 years later,
oh my gosh,
that's my car.
Here's what's fun about this. This is only one version of the fact that Missy Mae gets what she wants. Like, this is just one episode of that.
Yeah.
But give us a little bit. You were born in Arkansas.
I was born in Arkansas.
Left there as a teenager.
Yes. So I grew up in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is the hometown of Walmart.
Right.
And I will tell you, I was very lucky growing up in that town because corporate America definitely provided a lot of opportunity that I would never have had growing up in I grew up on a dairy farm. So growing up in a small community, having Walmart there was amazing. We got to do everything you could imagine. There were so many opportunities for us.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
and then you left and came to college.
I went to Abilene Christian University, is West Texas.
Got it.
And kind of interesting, I had one person in my family that had gone to Abilene Christian. It was a distant cousin. And when I went there, the purpose of it, I didn't know what the purpose of going to Abilene Christian was. I just knew it just seemed like there was something I needed there. And I ended up, I got accepted to a lot of different universities. I always wanted to go to Texas Tech.
Okay.
And I got accepted there, but they literally accepted me. And 4 months later, they called me and said, "Oh, so you move into the dorms next week." And I thought, well, yeah, I haven't heard from you in like 4 months, so I don't know what to say. So in Abilene Christian, they called me like every week and followed up with me and checked on me and everything. And I said, I don't know. It's nice to have somebody really care about you or to feel like somebody cares about you. And so I don't know why I'm going here, but I'll go to Abilene Christian, which was 550 miles away. I got in my car and I drove and got there drove overnight and got to Abilene Christian. And what ended up happening was I went through my entire year, and at the end of my year, my father passed away. And I had and it was the week before finals. We were about to leave school. And I had so many people who contacted me and said, "We care about you and we want to make sure you come back to school." And they sent flowers. The president of the university sent flowers to me. It was shocking to me that I had so many people in my life there that cared about me. And so I was like, yep, this is why I was supposed to be here.
Beautiful.
But you know what? It doesn't surprise me at all. You might have been surprised, but the impact that you made at that school is why they connected with you.
I loved it. We had chapel just about every single day.
Okay.
And it's a Church of Christ University, so you sing a cappella. And I have never been very musical in my life, and I could hardly carry a tune, but I thought that I loved that because it was deeply emotional for me.
Beautiful.
Singing from the soul.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, these people are tuning me. They're tuning me. And so I sort of became a better singer that way. Yeah. But I loved it.
Sings better in a group.
Oh, yes. And just like at Rotary. I mean,
it always sounds good.
Don't feel bad about going to Rotary and singing because you got all these other people doing it at the same time.
Makes it pretty good.
We have Paul Newman, too.
Right. So
he carries you guys.
Yeah, he carries everybody. So, yeah, it was incredible.
Marvelous. Left Texas with a degree in?
So my degree was in political science, history, and then public service was my minor.
Yes.
And I had worked in campaigns and politics the entire time, well, with the exception of working for the Boys and Girls Club, which I guess I can get into that later, but because there's definitely a tie with the Boys and Girls Club that's important to everything in my story. But I had worked for a lot of different people in Texas. I worked for the governor. I worked for a congressman in Texas. I worked state senate, state representative campaigns, and I worked for the Texas House of Representatives too.
Right on.
And I loved it too because I was a district director. So I had people, we actually had an office and people would come in just like a congressional office.
Okay.
and need help. My member that I worked for was Bob Hunter. He passed away just, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. And but he was the chairman of regulated industries. So all the utilities in Texas. And then he was also chairman of criminal justice. So my claim to fame when I worked for him was that I had to give a prison graduation speech.
That's awesome.
I had to go speak at a prison graduation.
I may have had family attendance.
Yeah, well, you never know. But I had tons of letters after that. Everybody wanted my help after that.
And that's
because, we could initiate prison transfers and get people closer to their families. And so I guess they just thought Missy Mae was so nice.
See what I mean?
She's just going to
Get
do
things
everything.
done.
Yeah,
She
she's
is
going to
a
get it
get
done
things
for
done
us.
girl.
So I loved it. I absolutely loved working for
And
the
so
Texas
community
House.
service has been like a cornerstone of everything you've done, like for a very long time. How'd you land in Dayton or the Miami Valley?
Well, let me think here. So when I came out in 2006, I was in the middle of grad school at Abilene Christian, and I said, I have been in undergrad and graduate school for 6 years now.
Okay.
I am tired. I need a break.
Okay.
And so continuing to work in politics, I worked on the gubernatorial campaign in 2006.
Okay.
And I had never had visited Ohio before, but I knew Ohio was very important to politics.
Swing state?
Swing state. It was, you had people that would vote Democrat one year and then vote Republican the next. And I said, okay, well, you have to have some convincing for people,
Right.
you know,
Needs to be an
it's about
influencer.
the message and about influencing the vote and critiquing whatever message a candidate has. Speaking to what people really want to hear about and things that really matter to them. Yeah. And so I came out here in 2006, and I will tell you, my job was traveling the state, and we did not have GPS at the time, I think, or we were just getting GPS.
Maps.
And so I traveled the state and got lost a lot while I was here. And I think I put about 20,000 miles on my car between July and that first week in November.
Holy cow.
And, but we lost bad. But you know what? You lose some and you win some. That's just how it rolls.
Right.
And, but I never had visited Ohio before. And what I did is I packed up my car and I drove overnight. It was 22 hours, I think. I slept at a rest stop, and I ended up in Ohio in Columbus and said, okay. I actually had been accepted to Pepperdine's School of Public Policy, and so I said to myself, when I get done with this, I'm going to Malibu.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do my public policy degree, and I ended up staying in Ohio. I never would have ever have imagined that.
Isn't that wild?
It's so crazy
It's
to me.
just wild.
It's the heart of it all.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and everybody told me that they would always, the heart of it all. The heart of it all was Ohio.
Good people here. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
became one of
absolutely,
those.
I absolutely loved it.
You must have if you stayed.
Oh, yes. 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 Well, you know, I, coming from Texas, I love Texas.
Yeah.
I love Texas. That was a hard one to leave. But, you know, I've made a lot of friends and I've had a lot of successes and there were a lot of opportunities here. And of course, working in public affairs, government relations, this was a great place to be.
Yeah.
Right on.
That makes
Good for you.
so much sense. Yes.
And now the Miami Valley. We've landed in the Miami Valley, not Columbus. How'd you
Not
get over
Columbus. Oh boy, a boy.
Here? Is that right?
That's what always happens, you know. I think he wasn't wanting to go back, wanting to go to Arkansas or to Texas because his family was all here, and so that's what ended up happening.
Boys ruin
Born
everything.
and raised in Kettering and not wanting to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you know what? It was fine. It was good. I get homesick every so often with things, but you know, I've made this place my home.
You're
So-
connected to so many people and you influence so many people. Let's
Talk
get
about
into
blooming where you're
Well,
planted, though.
yeah,
She is a beautiful flower.
just to get things done person, a connector of people, a relationship builder. I mean, you have an extensive resume. We've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But let's get to your current thing. I know.
Okay.
Well, currently you're working for Montgomery County.
Yes, I work for John McManus, who is our county treasurer.
Okay.
And John is a phenomenal human being. I just love working for John McManus because I have never seen John McManus get mad.
Wow.
I will tell you that working in politics, that is almost a non-existent thing, is to see people that can compose themselves and keep their temper under wraps. I always tell everybody that John laughs continually, and he treats everybody just the way that he wants to be treated, and that he's always making friends and he feels like the relationships are the most important thing. So we're everywhere.
Okay. And what's your role for John in Montgomery
So
County?
I work for John. I do Director of Communications and External Affairs for John. So my job is to be in the community, connecting and talking to people about how the office can better serve them.
Okay. Well, I can't imagine a better person doing that work, but you've got a little side gig going. Well,
I do
don't know.
a lot of things.
And maybe it's, I don't want to call it a side gig because maybe it isn't, but it's, I mean.
Is it part of your role?
Oh, no.
So it is a side gig.
It is Missy Mae saying, identifying that after, I don't know. So I've been here for 18 years. And in that time, the majority of things that I do have to do with children.
Okay.
And what I have found is that I'm a CASA. You know what that is? That's a court-appointed special advocate. So I work with the juvenile court system, and I take cases of kids that have gone or currently in foster care, and they're trying to figure out how to make their way back to their families.
Oh my goodness.
And some of the times they don't make their way back to their families because it's not the best. It's not where they're. It's not safe. You know, they're not. They don't need to be there. Their families need to get their acts together and, become the parents that they need their children to be.
Got it.
So I make recommendations to the court. And then I also have mentorship programs that I work with. I'm a big sister for Big Brother's Big Sister. And I'm always around kids. I do things with the Dakota Center on the west side of Dayton. I'm on the board of the Big Brothers Big Sisters, but also on the board of the Boys and Girls Club of Dayton. And so I have kids surrounding me continually. And I just said to myself, my goodness gracious, I have all these kids, and they have been paralyzed by COVID and social media. And a lot of them have no idea how to communicate with anybody. And they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to resolve conflicts with their peers or even with their families.
Right.
I was in charge of the Youth of the Year this past year for the Boys and Girls Club. And the kids went to a formal dinner, and they sat down and they said, "We have no idea what to do."
So you saw this in real time.
Why do I need more than one fork?
Why do I need more than one fork? What do I do with my glass? What happens with this napkin? What happens when I spill something on the table? What do I talk about at the table? All those kind of things. What do I do with my fork and my knife, to say that I'm done? How do I not chew with my mouth full?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All those kind of things. And so I said,
sometimes it's even holding the fork.
Oh, even holding the fork. Yes. And so it was, to me, I said to myself, I grew up on a dairy farm. And the reason I think I was in 5th or 6th grade when somebody said, "Missy Mae, okay, you're a tomboy." Well, I mean, I wore pants. I was always in jeans. I grew up on a dairy farm. I would wake up in the morning and help out. And I liked getting dirty. And they said to me, you know what? We're going to enroll you in a Cotillions class. And I thought, oh boy, this isn't going to turn out well. And I did. And I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was like the perfect introduction to learning how to work, how to function with other people that are different than you.
Yeah.
And how to treat people the right way, and how to show people that you care. And it definitely, I think, changed my life. So I think with kids now, there is the opportunity to change, You know,
Absolutely.
like it's not a done deal. Social media has not destroyed your life, you know, with your, you know, communication. I mean, I know I text a lot, but you know, kids, hey, life is a lot better when you're able to talk to somebody face to face.
It really is. It's so fun.
So yeah, I thought this was very much needed in our area.
Do you feel like it gives the kids more confidence too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's going to help them rise up within their peer groups
Yes.
too.
So you have started the
National League of Junior Cotillion Greater Miami Valley chapter.
Woo!
National League of Junior Cotillion Greater Miami Valley chapter. And there is not another one in the state of Ohio. When COVID happened, I think there were 2 other chapters that had been running in the Columbus area for 20 plus, maybe 30 plus years.
Okay.
And their directors were at the age they said, oh, we are not dealing with this anymore.
Yeah.
COVID did them a number, and they said, nope, we can't do this anymore. We're ready to retire. Like a lot of people did. A lot of people retired over COVID.
Yep.
Right.
And so I don't know how long it's been since they had one in the Miami Valley, but I hear from time to time from older adults in their 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we remember going through Cotillion.
Yeah. Oh, so they did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's been a long time.
It's been a
my
long
God.
time.
So
kind of give us a basic overview of what is Cotillion. What is the meaning of Cotillion?
Okay.
I will guarantee you this. There are a lot of people who are, they know what they want, and they know there's room for improvement and everything you've said, but they don't know what to call it. And so what I want to know is the definition of what is Cotillion.
Well, I'm going to read you the mission statement of Cotillion. To act and learn to treat others with honor, dignity, and respect for better relationships with family, friends, and business associates later in life, and to learn and practice ballroom dance. Although, the funny thing about it is that when we do our classes, they are an hour and a half. They run once a month between September and February. And we probably it's a half and half. We'll do a half of the class. The first half of the class will be manners and etiquette, and then the second half will be dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot even tell you how much I love this.
I know.
Like words
manners and etiquette. It is so delightful. I just love it.
Oh, yes. Well, and I'll tell you, I think we were talking about this earlier, that we had the boys.
Yes.
My first year was last year. I had 17 students last year. So it's an odd number. And the ideal number would be anything that where there's the same number of boys as there are girls.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that's hard to do because boys hear anything about dancing and they say, oh, I do not even think so.
Yeah, I am not doing that,
I
mother.
am not doing that. You just lost me completely. And what I found was that the boys end up loving the dancing.
Yeah.
Yes.
They love it more than the ladies do. The gentlemen love dancing more than the ladies. So my cute story is the very first class, they're all looking at me like I'm completely a nut.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think to myself, boy, and I'm actually getting nervous. I get nervous.
Because they're staring at you?
Because they're staring at me. They have blank looks on their faces. Like I'm like, oh boy, this might not have been a very good idea, Missy Mae. And so I say to myself, okay, I have class assistants. So I was like, we have to, I'm taking cues, like if I speak in front of people, I take cues from the audience and I say, okay, I need to take this in a different direction. Right. And so I end up having my class assistants do a role play, a skit. And it just breaks the mold with all the kids. They all start laughing. They're, I said, so one of the first lessons is teaching the gentlemen and the ladies how to sit pretty and sit strong. And so my class assistants I said, okay, you have to what do you think not sitting pretty is or not sitting strong? And I had this little girl, this young lady who ends up, she's 15, 16 years old. And she ends up taking a chair, putting it backwards and straddling it and sitting down.
Yep.
And the kids, they just went crazy over this. They're all laughing, and it just broke the mold with them.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, that's perfect.
What age are these young people? Let's talk about eligibility.
Okay.
I mean, I have a million questions, but let's talk about who are we working with age-wise?
5th through 8th graders. 5th through 8th graders. That is
Can you
junior
imagine?
cotillion.
Is there a more awkward age? Can you think of a more
very
awkward time?
Very awkward.
Like, my body is changing. I don't understand it.
The
You want
boys
me
are
to hang-
half the size of the girls.
Yup.
The ladies.
Oh, my heck.
Yeah, that is really, really tricky.
And so ultimately, though, it's the parents who are going to say yes or no to this, right? Because
Yes.
if I want my kid in there, my kid's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to convince them.
Yeah, like what do they say to get those boys to?
Well,
And
we
not
have
just pick on the boys. Girls might have some reservations
we have
too.
every class. We have cotillions, cookies, and punch.
Okay.
We have cotillion, cookies, and punch. And so I tell you, I have a reception for the parents. And so I go over what the class is, what the structure is.
Yes.
And, I kind of tell them, well, here's some things that maybe you can say. And they get fed. They get cookies and punch every class. So, you know what? For the boys, that's really nice. They
Snacks
really
are
enjoy
always-
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I get cookies and punch every class. That's amazing.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I can suffer a little bit, for an hour and a half. Yeah, it's just an hour and a half, but I'm going to take 2 or 3 cookies, So, which I have tons of cookies. So the kids,
No worries.
Afterwards, I say, okay, I do not want to take these home. So please take some more
Yes.
cookies, as long as it's okay with your parents. So
Right. And so the biggest class has been 17?
17 was my first year.
Got it.
This year I am doing 4 classes. I'm doing, so we're divided, Cotillions is divided into 3 years. So year 1, year 2, and year 3. Obviously I have no students in year 3. I'm only running a year 1 and year 2 class.
Okay.
But I'm doing back-to-back classes, a year 1 and year 2 at NCR Country Club, and then one over at Sycamore Creek Country Club in Springboro.
Got it. And so how do I get my kids connected to this?
Well, you can go to the National League of Junior Cotillions website, and you will go ahead and select Ohio, and I'm the only chapter there, and it takes you directly to the website, and you can fill out specifically, like on the left-hand side, it says registration for this upcoming year.
So we'll put that link in the
Okay. Yeah, and classes they do not start until the 2nd week in September. So they're still.
So we're getting close.
Yeah, we're close, but there's still a lot of time. So
Okay.
What's the dress code?
dress code.
What do I gotta wear?
Okay. So the boys, the gentlemen, and I have to keep on. I've got to get back into the cotillions. I took the summer
gentlemen.
off here.
The
so-
gentlemen and the ladies.
The gentlemen and the
Yes.
ladies. So the gentlemen, they end up wearing khakis, dress shoes, a dress shirt, a blue blazer, and they have to wear a tie or a bow tie. I have a young man who always wears a bow tie, and he always has a matching bow tie and a hanky.
That kid's going to rule the world someday.
And I can say it's Wyatt, because Wyatt is just adorable. He is adorable, and he'll be coming back for his year 2. And the ladies they all wear dresses. If they have spaghetti straps or if it's strapless, I always tell them they have to wear a shrug or a cardigan. And then they wear closed-toed shoes because I don't want their
Getting
feet.
stepped on.
Yeah, they don't need to be stepped on.
Learning.
They're learning. So every so often, I have a kid that comes to class and it's not exactly the dress code.
Right.
There's something that they don't wear their shrug or whatever. And I just say, okay, I'm just reminding you because you're, this is the dress code. Everybody else is dressed this way.
Yes.
And so you kind of are standing out right now.
Yeah.
And we do the same exact thing when we do the balls. So we have a holly ball in December, and then we have a grand spring ball in March
Okay.
for the kids, so they can show off for their parents and dance and all that kind
This
of
makes
stuff.
my heart sing.
I know. So
It's
do they wear
adorable.
the same thing for the balls too?
Well, for the balls, the guys, the gentlemen have it easy.
Yeah.
They can wear the same thing
Okay.
all year long and
know,
they're
every
fine.
time.
The ladies, I do, so for holly ball, they'll wear a green dress or a red dress. They can choose. And then for the grand spring ball, they wear a white dress.
Pretty. Oh.
So it kind of, for a lot of the little girls. Oh, and they also, I provide them white gloves. All the little girls have white gloves.
That is so
and they
sweet.
That's the favorite thing. When they walk in the door, they're like, oh, I got to get my gloves on. And I love it. I love it because that's like something you never see anymore.
Yeah. Right.
Is ladies wearing gloves.
Yeah.
So it's like an added bonus for all of
So do you keep them with you, or do they take them home? Like they get them the first class?
I keep them.
You keep
Okay.
So they always have gloves.
Okay. Then you don't have to worry about
And then I wash them every single time. And they always have their gloves. And they also, all the kids get a book too. Mm-hmm. So everybody gets a student booklet for year 1 or year 2, and it'll have their name on it. And it's divided into classes. And so I let them take these books home, and they have to bring
the real
them.
deal.
Yeah, they have to bring it back with them at every class, and we have one of my chaperones or class assistants will go through it and make sure that they did their homework.
So
and
there is homework.
There is homework. It's not a lot. I think they have like 3 different homework assignments that they can choose from. Most of the ladies and gentlemen, they end up going and doing all 3 homework assignments, but they're only required to do 1. So I have eager beavers.
Assignment.
So season 1, class 1. Let us see. Assignment 1. Okay, we'll just go through this. Assignment 1, practice proper seating at least 5 times. 5 signatures are required. So, if they're sitting down at the dinner table or what, they could have their teacher sign it. They could have their parents sign it. They could have their brother or sister sign it.
Stranger in Wendy's.
Oh, yeah. Can you sign my Cotillion book?
Watch me sign.
Practice manners in the home for class 1. So they have to, they know what their responsibilities are. They know what we've gone through. And so they could, it's basically getting signatures. They're getting signatures that they've done what they're supposed to. Yeah. They're practicing what class 1 entailed.
Okay.
And then we go through it, and they get prizes. I have little prizes for them. I bribe them.
Yes.
To do bribery is fine.
100%.
They're nice things. Sunglasses and bags and what is it? The slapstick bracelets and everything. Oh,
okay.
So they love all this.
They love it. They love it. They love it.
What a fun thing.
Talk about the tone. Like, and we'll just use the gentleman because I can see them maybe dragging their feet a little bit. But they get there and they have a certain attitude, maybe, or a certain tone. My mom and dad are making me do this, and I'd rather not do this, or whatever. How long, or does it even happen, do they ever change tone to the point where it's like I hate to admit it, but I kind of like going to Cotillion.
Oh, okay. So last year, all the boys were just a flutter because they could not believe that their moms or dads had signed them up for this.
Right.
They thought, what is wrong? I have great manners, blah, blah, blah. And so they're
a little miniature pig. Let's be honest.
They have to learn how to escort the ladies,
of course
too.
They do.
And so, of course, some of them are like, I don't want a girl touching me. Oh, she's going to touch me? And I'm like, yes, she is. But she's got gloves on, so it's okay.
So it's not like
she's not really touching you.
The cooties
are going to stay in the gloves. And, but they're all looking at me like I'm absolutely crazy. And all of them, but especially the boys.
Yes.
But I will tell you, after that first class, they really warm up and they just start realizing, oh, wait a second. So Wyatt, the young man that I was talking about earlier, so he's an adorable young man. And he ended up, his grandmother comes to me and I thought, well, Wyatt's really warming up to all this. And his grandmother says, well, you know what that is? He goes, all the boys on the football team keep on saying, why do all the girls like you so much? And he's like, and he actually said to them, because I know how to treat them. Oh. And they all like that. They like how I treat them. So that's why all of them are just loving Wyatt.
Wyatt's going to start his own little football huddle of Cotillion. Like, all right, you slobs, let me show you how to do this.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. He's quite the entrepreneur. So I would imagine I would be happy for him if he did that.
Wow.
He
so
could
not
also
very
become
long
your
at
best
all.
recruit.
Oh, no. Because they feel like they're, I praise. I praise constantly. Mm-hmm. And I think positive reinforcement and feeling like they are, I set the pace.
Yes.
Yes.
If they're not getting it, I am not going to move on. We
Right.
will keep on the lesson or the dancing.
Yes.
I didn't get to the cha-cha last year because I said, you know what, the kids, this is their pace. They're learning at their own pace. So we are not going to make them feel like they have not done well.
Yeah, they haven't succeeded. You want them
And
to
I want them to
succeed.
be laughing
Yes.
and to smile and
Right,
to
not
feel
be
like they've
stressed
done
out.
something. And I love it when in February we call dip into dancing, and we had the parents come.
Okay.
And so we end up doing half the class where I'm going back through all the dances, which are the foxtrot, the waltz, and the beach shag or the swing. And so I'm going through all these dances with the students, with the young ladies and gentlemen, and then their parents come, and then they get to teach their parents their
that
dance
is
steps.
so awesome.
Okay.
And the parents, and it's so amazing to see all of these students just laughing and teaching their families how to dance.
That is so
This is going to rock. You're going to, well, here's another question. Do you have, do you do everything, or do you have assistants? Do you have other teachers? Do you have a dance instructor?
I wondered about the dance instructor.
boy.
Are you teaching the
I'm
dances?
teaching dance.
Okay.
So that is
Wow.
that I did not,
Yeah.
when I got trained to do this, to be a chapter director, I said to myself, oh my goodness, I have not danced in forever. And, I don't know if I can do this. But you know what? I mess up. I mess up some of the times, and I have to look at them and say, okay, Miss Missy Mae did not do that right. I did not count right. I used the wrong
Is there
foot.
a man in the room? Do you have a male counterpart?
No, I teach the ladies and the gentlemen steps too.
Oh my goodness sake.
So I had to learn how to lead. How to lead and then how to follow.
Yes.
And it can get very confusing. So
Very confusing. And making sure that they are all getting what they need.
are all doing it. So what I do is that I have all the ladies stand up and I stand in front of them and I have them watch my feet and count and do the same steps. And we do it like 5 or 6 different times.
Okay.
And then I had the gentlemen stand up and I do the exact same thing. And then we come together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've done it 6, however many times. So all you have to do is just repeat that.
Yeah.
And we put the music on. We have array of music for each dance. And so we do that and, and they say, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And we rotate in a circle. The gentlemen rotate the entire time. The ladies stand
So they
in
have
the
a
same
different
place.
They're gonna.
Every time I let them dance for like a minute or two, and then I say, okay, we're rotating to the right. And then they move to the right and they get to dance with everybody.
Oh my gosh. This just is amazing to me. And so my class is how long? Again, I'm going to get to the country club. I'm going to get to the club at what time?
Well, so I started 2 different. Last year I did a Sunday, and what I found was that I have so many Catholic families that had confirmation.
Oh, okay.
I said, okay, well maybe Sunday's not a great day.
Got it.
So I'm doing it during the weekday. I have a Thursday, which is at second Thursday, which is at NCR Country Club, which is starts at 5:30 to 7, and then my year 2 starts at 7:30 to 9.
Got it.
And then over at Sycamore Creek, that's the 4th Tuesday of the month, and that is 5 o'clock start time to 6:30, and then 7 to 8:30
Got it.
for year 2.
Okay. So it's an hour and a half once a month?
Once a month.
For how many
Only once
months?
a month. So we have class in September, October, November, and then December we take off, but we do have the ball. So if they don't have to attend the ball, if they have vacation or whatever, it's at the beginning of the month. So I'm assuming they'll be in town.
Yeah.
And then January we have class, February we have class, and we do dip into dancing, and then the beginning of March is when we do the Grand Spring Ball.
And that's the graduation?
That's the graduation. Oh, and last year what I did with the students was that I teach them how to write thank you notes.
Ooh, nice.
And so what I did was then I had a printer make 25 thank you notes that were personalized for them.
Okay.
So they would have personalized stationery that they could,
That's awesome.
they loved it. And I loved it when I had students that were sending me notes on their
my
personalized stationery. And I was like, this is perfect. This
And
is
they're
great.
practicing by thanking you.
Absolutely.
Any static, any blowback, any pushback, anybody who said this is a horrible experience?
I had one or two students that they just said, this is not for me. But I think that one of the issues that we have is that students have so many things that they're doing.
Okay.
They have to, they're totally overcommitted.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is only an hour and a half once a month.
Right.
One time a month.
Right. And it's life skills.
This
is not like, basketball. You're not going to be playing basketball when you're 70, but you are going to need manners when
yes,
you're 70.
you are. Well, and I had students too that I said, this is, we talk about sportsmanship too.
Yes.
So this will help you with all of the sports that you're involved in, and knowing how to be a graceful when you lose, how to disagree with somebody, how to treat an opposing player, in the right way. Like I loved it. I don't know which Olympics it was. I think that it was a couple of Olympics ago, but you had the runner who fell down and he was literally right there.
Yeah.
And he fell down and somebody picked him up and carried him over the finish line. And they said, well, why did you do that? You could have just won.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it wouldn't have mattered then. It wouldn't have, I would have known I wouldn't have won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The humanity
how
of it.
would that have been fair to me or fair to him?
Yeah.
Right. So if I go to the
about being
website,
in
is there an
person.
outline where you can say, oh yes, here's where we learn about these things? Do you have an outline on the website?
So I have like topics of every class.
Got it.
So I don't do exactly an outline.
Yeah.
But the students, when they get their book, they will see everything that we're going to go over in class.
Right.
So the parents, I have parents that look at this and say, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it seems very simple. It's very
To you,
simple.
But at the end of the day, a lot of what you consider simple has been swept aside because culturally it's no longer a big deal.
How to be seated at a table. The other thing, so I taught the kids about corsages and boutonnieres and how to put a boutonniere on.
Yeah.
None of them had any idea
No
about
way.
that.
And those needles are not small.
Yes, they were not small at all.
So do they do that for one of the balls?
Yes. Well, they do it for all of them. I get corsages for all the ladies.
Oh, each time?
Every single time.
wow.
So they get corsages and they get boutonnieres and they're real flowers. They're real. So, they I had a bunch of them that ended up keeping their corsages and their boutonnieres. They said, oh my goodness, we're going to remember this forever.
Oh, that is
So that's I mean, it's really heartwarming to see how they react to these
to bring
things.
back some of that etiquette and those manners and bring that into modern day, I think is just so necessary.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. So I had the students write they had to write an essay about their best mannered teacher.
Oh, was it you?
No, it couldn't be me. It could be, it had to be one of their teacher. Well, it could be like a Sunday school teacher, or it could be, every student wrote about one of their teachers at their schools. This was amazing. So the teacher, and I cannot think of her name right now, but she's a teacher at one of the junior highs in Oakwood. And she said when we had a presentation for her, awarded her certificate and took a photo for the paper and everything. And she said, my mother would be so proud of me, because we read her the essay. And she said, my mother would be so proud that a student thought that I was so caring and compassionate to my students and treated them all the way that they wanted to be treated. So
that is amazing.
That's so sweet.
So she was about in tears over that.
I'm sure.
Amazing teacher. I could tell why her student, the young lady that nominated her and wrote the essay, loved her so much.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's just so heartwarming.
Yeah. I mean, you wish that you had more teachers role models that were like that. So
I agree. But they're out there.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
they are absolutely. Hidden gems everywhere.
Oh my gosh, we have only scratched the surface of what's possible here.
Well, what do you
I think it's fascinating. Well, Missy's
the rest
resume,
of
we only just
Missy's,
basically
yes.
scratched the surface.
But I really wanted, we can always have Missy Mae come back.
Oh, 100%.
Because I really think with the time involved, and I think Graham's going to, is going to launch this week, right, Graham?
Okay,
Yeah.
this will hit
Okay.
the-
So,
well, my
which
point
is
is,
also good.
I want to bring you back at the end of the next class. Like, get through the your upcoming group, and then we can talk about how they did, and who was repeat, and who was brand new. And I mean, I think it's amazing.
Do you want to talk about the tuition?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, $350 for the first year, year one, and $375 for the second year. The reason that the second year is $375 is because we also added a 3-course dinner.
Oh,
Holy cow!
So we actually practice, like I will go over the place settings and everything during the first year, during year one. But when we get into year two, we actually will go have a dinner.
oh my
Yes.
God.
And we'll talk about how you're supposed to chew, where your napkin goes, it will be, everything will be laid out in front of them. And what exactly, even, actually one thing that the question I get all the time is, what do I do with bread?
That's a good question.
So the bread,
Yes.
so we'll have the bread out there and we'll go over that as well.
Will you tell us what we're supposed to do with the bread?
Oh, well, you're tearing it apart ahead of time.
Uh-huh.
And then taking, because a lot of people go ahead and they just sit there and they tear it one at a time.
Uh-huh.
I tear it all apart at once.
Or
and then
eat it whole, right?
or eat it. Or,
take-
yes,
yeah, like
or
an
take
apple.
it and just stuff it in your mouth. Oh, absolutely. I think I saw, one of the kids, one of the gentlemen, he ended up taking one of the cookies and he just stuffed it all in his mouth that first day. I'm watching him and he's just chewing it in front of everybody. I mean, he was hungry, I think, so that's why he was doing it. But I'm like, okay, well, we're going to talk about how we're eating these cookies here. But the other thing, I have the gentlemen serve the ladies. When we do cookies and punch, the gentlemen escort the ladies to the punch bowl. And then they ask, may I get you punch? May I get you, would you like a cookie? And they have to serve them. And then they have to clean up after them when they're done.
My goodness.
I bet the women's lib people just love this.
Well, during one of the first classes, I say to all the young ladies, do you want a boy to be nice to you, or do you want him to be mean to you?
Yeah.
Do you want to be treated the right way?
Yeah.
And I said, if you want to be treated the right way, raise your hand. And they all raise their hands. I'm like, okay, wonderful. We're all in agreement here.
Yeah. So we're going to show these boys how to treat you nice. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's
And then they'll
sorely
have-
lacking in culture. I this is heroic. I think you're doing something heroic.
Yeah, I think
And
so
I also
too.
think that once we air this episode, you're going to need to hire people to help you.
Hey, I'm all about,
Because-
I'd love to have 15 or 20 more kids.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I have 15 or probably 20 kids per class is about my limit. I think that's what I can handle.
Yeah.
But you know what? I want to make sure everybody has a unique experience. I think we mentioned this before, that I had parents the first year that said, well, this is a very exclusive group.
Right.
I said, well, actually not. It's not exclusive at all. It's very inclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm teaching them how to be inclusive with other people, how to treat people that are different than you.
Right.
I, as an added note, I have kids in class that have autism. And, they might say things that are very different and act different. And of course, some of them do not want to touch other people
Or be touched. Right.
And so we figure out how to deal with that.
That is amazing. So you're teaching the other children how to respond and react in a situation that they might have felt uncomfortable.
Oh,
in.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I've put my hand on a gentleman's shoulder before, a young man's shoulder, and then he just like whapped it off.
Wow.
And I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. But he had
There's so many
autism.
rules now that are so different. And learning.
But it might have been
Right, it's a sensitivity
thing.
issue
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
But permission and manners and I mean, like I said, I think you're going to need to hire people. If I were a parent of people this age, I would be like, I don't care what it costs. And I think exclusivity is okay. Not everybody's cup of tea is going to be Cotillion.
Right. But
I want to
everybody
go to
is
the
open.
Super Bowl, but they can only handle so many people.
Right.
So that means that somebody's going to be excluded sometimes.
But everybody's invited.
Right.
Everybody is invited.
Absolutely.
And so
Well, and I had this happen the other day.
Uh-oh.
I had I was talking to a parent about an example of something that we talk about during class, that not everybody is going to like you.
Yeah.
And it's okay. But you need to figure out how you treat people that don't like you. Because that is something that we have a really big problem with in this world, is that if somebody doesn't like you, normally the reaction is, well, I'm going to be mean to that person now.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not the way to handle that.
Right.
There's more than one way.
So you're giving them tools.
Yeah.
Yes.
A giant tool.
Lots of tools. I want them all to come back and to
Do you have
be
photos from last year? Do you have?
Oh, I absolutely. Yes,
So we'll
absolutely.
put some of those in there as well.
I had dancing photos. I
love it.
And, the boys that are a foot shorter than the ladies, and they're supposed to have their arm, there's a stance for dancing.
Stance and posture, absolutely.
And stance and posture. And it's a little off, but that's okay.
Right.
It just, they can't help it.
Things just have a way of working out, though.
Yes.
I love this
Absolutely.
so much.
So fantastic. And did we already talk about the opportunity to create a sponsorship program or no?
We want to make sure
So
we touch on that.
what I am doing is that I realized, okay, $325, $350, $375. Yes. Okay. And especially when you have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I have one family that I think they have 6 or 7 kids.
Got it.
Okay.
So $350 is quite the
It's a ticket.
That's a lot. So what I decided to do is that I am trying to get sponsorships from businesses who say, wow, I see a lot of value in this. I would be willing to sponsor a student. And, $350, $375. I mean, I rent out in Sierra Country Club. I pay for decorations. I pay for the food every single time. Yes, there's nothing wrong with making money, but I'm not making that much money. So I'm just trying to do something that I think contributes to
100%.
the well-being to these kids that are starving for, the opportunity to have more opportunities in life.
It will open up doors for them.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So you can definitely put us down for at least one gentleman and one lady for each of the classes.
Yeah.
So four students.
Okay.
Yeah. We would love to do that.
That's amazing.
I've been
But I
thinking
can't
about it all
cry.
day.
I'm not crying. I'm not going to cry. But I will tell you, I've applied for a 501c3 and I'm calling it the Good Manners Institute.
I love it.
And so anyway, because 501c3s are important because businesses like giving to 501c3s.
Yes.
It's nice to have a tax deduction.
It is.
But I am working on that right now. And hopefully that ends up making it where a lot more students can participate.
Right. Yeah, like I said, you're going to need to hire help. It's going to be bigger than you, which I think is also amazing.
Oh, I would love it. I love it.
Well, and it's also making me think, like, how else could we contribute? Like, if we donated the snacks one month or something like that, like businesses or individuals to do something like that.
I started to say, I am I always give them gifts. There's always gifts at every like the thank you notes, the personalized stationery.
Yes, it's so
that was something. I don't know if there's very many groups that do anything like that. Other cotillions. I said that is something that I think is amazing and that they need. And it was a little bit more, but that was okay because I think it was beneficial to them.
You're planting seeds for the future. I think it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But can you imagine little Miss Honey doing the cotillion?
Down the road.
Oh my goodness. All the little dresses.
Oh, absolutely.
I know.
We have some time.
Okay.
She's 2.
Well, I also need class assistants. So if a student is 9th grade or older, so some of my students that were in 8th grade last year will come back and be class assistants.
Okay.
So the high school students, an hour and a half. If they have an hour and a half every single month and they want to come by and help out with class, that helps me out a lot because
I'm
plus
telling you, once
the
this hits the
younger
airwaves,
students, they're
That's
impressed. They're like,
incredible,
wow, I got to make sure that I do everything right because this high school student's here.
I know.
I want to impress them.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. They're going to look up to those people that are in the class.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's what I like about when I think about Hawk and Noble going to the class is just that they already have such a good foundation, and they would be good leaders in that situation too, and just good helpers.
Agreed.
Overall.
Yeah, no, they'll be excellent.
Yeah.
We just got to talk them into it.
Well,
Snacks and punch.
Snacks and punch.
Right.
Cotillion's cookies. I call them Cotillion's cookies and Cotillion's punch.
I love it.
And they love the kid. So I asked them at the end of the class, what was your favorite part of class? You know, and I mean, the first class, the majority of them, Cotillion's punch and Cotillion's cookies.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're like, I got a prize. Oh, I learned to dance. Oh, I know how to introduce myself to somebody.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it just, then I know they're really learning.
And you're making a dent. You're making a dent.
I'm making an impression.
You really are.
I love it.
I do one other thing. So I'm out this summer. I had a student that was at a table right next to me, and he wouldn't look at me, he wouldn't talk to me. And his mom had to come up to me afterwards, and she said, he was so worried. He wasn't wanting to not talk. He just was worried. He's like, Mom, I'm at lunch right now. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm worried that, she's going to be like, oh, I'm not sitting strong, and I'm not eating exactly the right way, So,
Oh my gosh.
So it was cute.
Well, practice, and then I can sign off on your sheet.
Yeah, he knows how to do it. He was just like, okay, I'm laid back today. This is a laid back day, Mom.
Yes.
So it was cute.
There's another really fascinating little bit about Missy Mae too. She started taking flying lessons. Was that this year?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This year has been, so I started taking flying lessons because I was scared to death of flying.
Oh, that's a good
This
reason.
is going to, and a lot of people look at me and say, oh, well, that is very interesting.
Yeah, it's a good way to overcome the fear, right?
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Just doing it.
Right.
I was scared of drowning. And so I took my scuba certification. It took me 2 classes to get through that. And the instructor ended up saying, you know what, you just go about it, at your own pace.
Okay.
And eventually I did a 40-minute dive that was like 60 feet underwater. And so when I started my flying lessons, I had like the death grip. I was like, and my instructor just says, now, Missy Mae, this is not going to crash. I've been doing this for 28 years. Nothing is happening. And, but my tire blew my second time.
Oh,
that would have been alarming.
When I landed,
taking off or landed?
Landing. When I landed my second time, my tire blew my front tire blew. And he said to me, he goes, well, in 28 years, this has only happened twice. I'm like, oh boy. And it ended up being the core of the tubing on the inside was rotten. It wasn't my fault, but I have had a flat in my car, and I've had a flat on an airplane.
So
there you go.
Like, what did that feel like? You're landing?
It just pulled the plane to the left.
Okay.
So I went into the field.
The grass,
I went into the grass off of the runway.
Yeah.
And just sat there and said, well, I guess that just happened.
Was somebody else in the plane with you?
My instructor was in the plane.
Okay, I didn't know if you were flying solo yet.
No. That was only my second flight.
Oh, your second flight.
That was only the second time.
Okay. So you got that out of the way.
I got it out of the way. There you go.
And now you know how it feels.
Now I know how it feels. And so I wasn't scared, but I just said, I went to Israel this summer. And the really cool thing was when I was flying to Israel, I said, I was completely at ease the entire time because I said to myself, I know exactly what is going on right now. Like flying taught me everything that they're checking and what they have to do when they taxi, all the precautions that they have to take. And I was totally at ease flying to Israel.
Good for you.
It's amazing. That was a long flight.
It was like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 12, 13 hours, something like that.
See, we need to have you come back on just to tell us about your trip.
Right.
Because I saw all those pictures and they are amazing.
Oh, yes.
So maybe you can include some of those too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I loved Israel. I loved Israel, and I'm planning on going back in March.
Are you really?
I'm going to take me and a guy here in town who does cyber security. He takes like 2 trips a year and takes a bunch of CEOs and presidents of companies that he wants to better educate on cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a big deal in Israel. And
bigger than here?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
They have a lot of companies there, a lot of companies. And so they have an international conference there twice a year, I think. And so I said, you know what? I know people. I'm taking people with me from Dayton, Ohio to Israel. So, and I never felt unsafe while I was there.
Good for you.
I loved it, every single moment of it.
Beautiful.
So special. I know.
All right, okay.
Anything else that you would like to share with us?
Oh, I love kids. I love kids and I see potential and I see people that made investments in me.
Yeah.
And that's why I do everything that I do.
I love that, Missy Mae. You're a very special lady.
I hope. I'm trying to do my part.
Yep, you are.
It's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's working.
You have a track
Good.
record for sure.
Oh,
If you like what's happening here, and we know you do,
yes.
smash that subscribe button, like and share. This episode will be out probably later this week or early next. I don't even know.
It
doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, stay tuned for coming attractions, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Well, you didn't cuss and you didn't puke, so we're all good.
But I feel like people will have a very good idea of what this is all about. You know, the cotillion
Good.
information and all that. I feel like
It's
that.
like an unknown thing. Like we could go, I bet if we went anywhere, Kroger's, let's go to Kroger's. We could ask 10 people what is cotillion, and I bet they would not know.
10 would not know.
Oh,
So we
Maybe-
need more people to know.
so that would be, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.